This is Jeff Breedlove with the Georgia Council on Substance Abuse on this very special Giving Tuesday, America Uniting around COVID-19 in support of nonprofits. The Georgia Council on Substance Abuse, very proud to be among those nonprofits in this very special day. And we're joined again this afternoon by the Executive Director of the Georgia Council on Substance Abuse, Neil Campbell, to talk about maybe what's the cornerstone of the Georgia Council on Substance Abuse, and that's our CARES program, the CARES Academy. Neil, tell the viewers, what is the CARES Academy?
So the CARES Academy, CARES stands for Certified Addiction Recovery Empowerment Specialist. And it is a peer training program that was developed by myself and George Brott back in 2010. And George and I had this vision that we wanted to have a workforce of people who are in recovery, have the lived experience of addiction recovery, to sort of be a sister agency or run parallel to the Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network and the mental health peers that they have. So CARES is what we did was we went way back in 2010, George and I started doing focus groups all over the state. We started asking people questions. If you had a recovery coach working in your agency, or if you had a recovery coach working for you, what kind of characteristics would you want of that person? What would you want them to do? And then we developed an advisory group, about 25 people, close to 400 years of recovery, and we developed a curriculum from there. And all of that in the hopes of becoming a certification program for people with lived recovery experience, because we believe that, it really makes a difference to have someone who's been through what you've been through or something similar to what you've been through, so they know, what it's like, and you can help them and walk alongside them in their recovery journeys.
Well, that's transformational. It's incredible. For full disclosure, I earned the opportunity to go through CARES 37, the best CARES.
It was my favorite.
The best CARES. And I'll just say it's hard. It's an intensive, hard day. There's homework at night. It's a pretty tough thing. But so for the viewers, a person goes through the CARES Academy. What does that mean to that person on the other side of that?
Yeah, a lot of times it's their employers who send them or want them to come through the CARES Academy. So and it's just the beginning. It's like any other certification process. You end up doing 40 hours of in-class, like you said. You have several hours of out-of-class reading and activities, and then after that, you are able to sit for an exam. And after you sit for that exam and pass that, you are technically a CARES. And what that means is that you are certified in the state of Georgia to provide peer recovery support services. It's just the beginning, right? So we also, once you're a CARES, you have to have 12 hours of continuing ed every year. 8 of those hours need to be from a CARES Connect, that we call it, which is when we get together 3 times a year, all of us from all around the state, and do some type of learning initiative, like whether it's talking about ethics or documentation or how to connect with peers, how to run groups. So you can keep your tools sharpened all the time. So really coming to a CARES Academy is just the beginning. We also, you mentioned early on that CARES is sort of the cornerstone of GCSA. We believe that peer support is the cornerstone of a recovery-focused system. So that's a system that's focused not on illness, but on wellness. So it's a focus on how to promote staying and getting well, coming back from something difficult, and living a life of recovery. And that's what CARES is about. And CARES, we always call ourselves hope dealers because we really believe in hope. And there are many people that we work with that are just at their wits' end. They don't know what else to do. They don't know where to go. But we can say, hey, you can do this, and I've got hope for you, and this is why.
Well, that's, it's been transformational. What's been going on within the recovery community with the peer-led voice emerging thanks to your leadership and George and your contemporaries. How many CARES are there in 2020?
Right now there are 734 is the number that we have. We've had 38 CARES Academies, so we're working on 39 and 40 this year as soon as we can get back to being together in the same room. And like I said, we have 3 times a year where we get together and sharpen our skills, our peer support skills. And then every month we have webinars once a month. So you can't just get your certification, recertification just through a webinar. You have to do some in-person training as well.
And so it's going to sound like we're bragging, but it's very serious, I'm about to say. When you think about it, that's 734 people, peers, really. I mean, they're people, but they're peers who are across the state of Georgia for the most part. Some may have moved, but for the most part, 734 across the state of Georgia in different communities, bringing that peer voice into the recovery process.
That's right.
That really is a big deal.
It is, Jeff. And it's, you know, our system is very, like I said, illness based. It's very, you know, people tend to identify with their diagnosis, and we try to turn that on its head and say, we are not our diagnosis. That's just something we're living with and something we can overcome. And so the whole shift in philosophy, the shift in stigma, we're trying to change social norms about recovery, about addiction, about what this is all about. And that's why, you know, there are actually, I'd like to talk about the 3 core competencies of CARES, because I think that's really important to what we do. So once you're through the CARES Academy, the 3 core competencies are advocacy. So you will learn to advocate for yourself, for your peers, and for a recovery focused system. You'll be able to run a recovery support group, run a recovery group, and then you'll also be able to do engagement activities, which is, you know, how you actually get someone to talk to you, because sometimes, you know, people get approached about their addiction and they don't want to talk about it, but we have ways and we teach ways that can happen on a very personal and very high level. So it's about a relationship, right? We call it relationship enhancement skills. So it's not just going to give you a diagnosis, write you a prescription and walk away. It's like, I'm going to be in relationship with you.
That's extraordinary. Well, in the interest of time, I want to ask you one more question.
Okay.
If you were to encounter a person and they asked you about CARES, what would be the your top bullet point on the value of CARES?
Wow. Yeah, I would drive them to our website to read about it, because I think we have a really good description of what CARES is. But I would say it's recognizing that people in recovery are empowered. And if you have 2 years of continuous recovery, if you have conducted some leadership in your recovery community, if you're willing to be out loud about your community, come join us, because we will show you what an anti-stigma program is, that it's really about talking about it, living our recovery out loud. So it's my goal that everybody in this state knows somebody that's in recovery and can say, hey, I know someone and they're successful and this is what it's about. So therefore, more people will ask for help. If I know that there's a possibility that I can get better, I'm more likely to go ask for help. And a lot of times with addiction, we don't see that. We think it's hopeless. That once you're like that, you're always going to be, we always hear once an addict, always an addict. We know that's not true. So we just try to bust down those myths. So if you're ready to join with us and to talk differently and think about addiction, substance use disorders a little differently, come join us.
Well, so this is just another example on this CARES, on this Giving Tuesday for COVID-19, where the Georgia Council of Substance Abuse has an innovative program that is changing lives across Georgia, because those 734 people, they are a mosaic of Georgia.
Yes.
Diversity in every way, and especially geography. They are all over the state. It's a true statewide program. And if you're in a position to give, we ask you to consider the Georgia Council on Substance Abuse today on this Giving Tuesday. Any donation you make from $1 up is a blessing to us, and it goes to support programs just like this, the CARES Academy. You heard from our executive director, Neil Campbell, what a difference it's making in the lives of Georgians and the state of Georgia. And we just thank you for your consideration and your continued support of the Georgia Council on Substance Abuse. And remember, as we always say, recovery is real.
Thanks, Jeff.